As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 114 of Zero to Hero, presented by J29 Creative Group. Got another awesome guest coming at you guys today. His name is Charles King. He is the CEO of the Educator Academy. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Charles, how are you this morning, sir?
Doing well. Good morning, Gino. Good morning, everyone.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us. Now, before we really get into this, what is the Educator Academy? What do you guys do? What do you have coming up?
Yeah, so the Educator Academy is an education nonprofit that works to support the recruitment, preparation, and development of teachers across the greater Kansas City metro area. And so we do this by strategically partnering with school districts and charter schools and really helping them think through their talent strategies, both on how do we bring more great teachers into the profession, but then also thinking through like ways in which we are retaining amazing educators. And then, as part of our program, what we are aspiring to do is ensuring that the teachers that are being placed in our classrooms are representative of the students that we are serving in Kansas City. And so things that we have coming up on our end, we are currently in the midst of Summer Institute. So we have right now 27 amazing individuals who are aspiring teachers, some that will be taking on classrooms of their own in this fall, and others that are going to have their own classroom a year from now. But they are going through a 5-week summer intensive to get ready for the classroom. And so they started with us 2 weeks ago, so this is week 3 for them. And it's been an amazing experience so far. We also have coming up is, for us, is a mentor teacher professional development. So we, every year we bring together our mentor teachers that are going to be working with us for the year for a boot camp per se. And during that experience, we teach them the knowledge, the skills, and the habits of being great mentors, as well as being able to support and build relationships with our new incoming teachers.
Amazing. Obviously, teachers is something that is a huge necessity for our country, right? We have to have education for our children growing up, and it's obviously something that we struggle with, right? There's huge pay gaps, right? When we talk about what teachers get paid versus what they should be getting paid, right? Along with a barrage of other things, challenges that come along with, being an educator and wanting to stay in that role, right? I've got 2 kids myself. I know they can be difficult, right? I can't imagine having 30 all looking at me, right? Being difficult as well. So definitely amazing work that you guys are doing. And I know you have some great missions along within the program as well. Talk a little bit about, maybe why a teacher that maybe already is teaching, right? Or even somebody that is, maybe I want to do that, right? Maybe I'm looking at being an educator, but don't know the first steps. Why would they get involved with you? How do they get involved with you guys?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So for current teachers who are working in school systems that are looking to grow and develop in their own capacity, right? That is a great opportunity for those individuals to become a mentor teacher and being a mentor for a resident. One thing that we hear from the mentors that have been in our program in the past is that they say that this is some of the best professional development that they've received because of the support that they get from our program managers that are working in classrooms with them on a regular basis. We also know that as a teacher, right, like there's not many opportunities for, to get feedback or observation or just getting support if you're not, struggling in your classroom. And so through our organization, through our program, we work to support those educators, those who are working with our incoming new teachers, and those who are not. And really, if you want to get involved in that work and learn more about that, about how to receive that development, check out our website, www.educator-academy.org. But also but one thing we do every spring is an educator summit. And so for our summit, we bring together hundreds of educators across the entire metro to really learn and grow from one another. And so we have educators who are experienced teachers, people who are leaders in buildings and districts, to come and lead different sessions that are aimed at equipping teachers with new tools for their toolkit that they can take and implement in their classroom the next day. And then we also bring in a national speaker that can really work to inspire and motivate the teachers that are here in the community, and understanding that there is a broader network that collectively together, whether you are a teacher that came through the Educator Academy or you're a teacher that is connected to us through one of our partnerships, that this is an opportunity to really just expand the work that we're doing.
Amazing. And when is the next summit coming up?
The next summit's coming up in February 2025. Look out on our social media as well as our website for the save the date. But if you're an individual who wants to get into the profession, right, similarly, right, you want to check out our website. We open up recruitment for new individuals to come in our program in August. And the reason why folks would choose our program over another is really around the support. I say that, you can go and get your teacher certification at a university. You can go through other alternative routes into certification. But what makes the Educator Academy unique is the fact that, one, we offer regular coaching and support directly in the classroom, not only during your training year, but also when you are teaching for your first 3 years. We believe that, teachers are grown and developed and formed over time, and that just because you go through a pre-service experience in 1 year, that's not going to have you to be ready and developed, to be excellent. And we want all of our teachers to be excellent. We also provide a ton of supports around individuals to ensure that they are completing our program. We provide support around like test prep. We provide support around, if there's courses that you're struggling in, we have systems to support you there. We have a great network of individuals who are career changers, who are recent college graduates, people who've retired and want to get back into teaching. So we have a diverse cohort of just experience that really makes the individual's, time with us one that's unique, and also one that is super helpful.
Awesome. Well, I love it. Yeah, if you are thinking about it, or if you're a teacher out there, definitely get involved. Definitely a great mission that the Educator Academy has going on over there with Mr. Charles, for sure. Now, I'm going to ask you to put the Educator Academy to the side for just a second, Charles, okay? I'm going to ask you, just a couple sentences. Tell us, who is Charles King? Give us the elevator pitch about you.
In a couple of sentences, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
If you got 5, go for it.
I would say that I am just like values driven, family oriented, and really focused on how to, be the change in the world. And that is like who I am, and how, I show up just in, my professional life and my personal life. I understand the privileges that I've had as an individual, in growing up, where I went to college, in undergrad and my lived experiences that have shaped me. And I see myself as, being in a place where I'm hoping to not only, you know, grow and inspire my own children, but then also the people that I have the privilege of touching every day, that I inspire them and really elevate them. And I say, look, that's who I am.
I love it, man. I love it. You're very intentional with giving back to the world, which is definitely one of the qualities that I respect most in people. Right? Is that purpose, right? Of I'm gonna do this because that's what I need to do. Right? I love that, Charles. Now I know you guys as the Educator Academy went through a rebranding a little bit ago. We were under KCTA before, but when the whole thing started, obviously there was no social media, right? We weren't using anything to really promote KCTA at the time. But then obviously as you guys transitioned over to the Educator Academy too, I want to talk a little bit about what that journey was like up to that point, and then kind of that transition and what it's been like since then.
Yeah. So we, in terms of like our social media strategy, I think one thing that we have um, learned over time, and I have an amazing communications team. And so early on, we would, post things every now and then, and it wasn't a true like clear strategy. And so we would, say we would announce that our applications are open, or we would not, like, you would see things happening within coursework. But over the last like 3 years, our team has been really intentional in building out a communications calendar that has been focused on, thinking through like, one, who is our audience that we're trying to reach, whether that be, prospective candidates, or that are like our potential donors in the space, or just the general community to know about our work. And then from there, really making sure, like, on a weekly basis, every month during that theme, like, how do we make sure that there is some element that's coming up on social media, whether it's a blog post or an image, or sharing, an article from another, an education related organization. And that intentionality helped to increase our social media presence. And then also, which has also helped to increase our brand awareness, right?
Yeah.
Anything like that was. And so as a result of that, what the impact of those decisions is that it's bringing in, more individuals who are hearing about our program, not only in Kansas City, but really from across the country. And folks who are reaching out to in ways to engage and support. And that's what we're trying to do. And it really took, our team, one, who was deeply committed to the communication strategy, but then also two, working hand in hand to learn about just the elements around social media, and how to ensure that our organization arrives at the top in searches that folks are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to know who your audience is, right? I think that's the
Yeah.
first step, right? Who are you trying to reach with social media? And then I think step two is stop selling so much, right? You guys do a great job of that storytelling, right, throughout your socials, and your communication team does an excellent job. I know you guys have a YouTube channel as well. You incorporate quite a bit of video in that as well. Talk a little bit about that. How that's helped you guys kind of spread that message in maybe a little bit more of a clear way.
Yeah, so we've, I think, so we've always had a YouTube, like, we had a YouTube channel, but it wasn't utilized until right during the pandemic. And what we did, one thing we talked about, as we had really we had done some strategic planning work with an organization in 2018, 2019. And coming out of that, we knew that, one, we had a great brand that the stakeholders who were working with us all acknowledged that we had a strong product that needed to be communicated out. And one piece that was missing was having just a tight informational video around who we are as an organization and what are we and how are we making impact. And so that led to us to really start leveraging our YouTube channel. In terms of like, how do we put the informational video and how is it there so that can be shared broadly. And then coupled that, moving forward, we started doing, we started doing different recruitment videos to recruit new candidates into the program. And so our recruiter would host like one-on-one sessions with various individuals in the organizations, people who graduated from our program, alumni. We also had, staff members who would be interviewed and just like talking about, why the Educator Academy at the time was the Kansas City teacher residency. Why did you want to become a teacher? Talk about your journey, in the hopes of like really bringing people in. And so we would do live events on LinkedIn or on Twitter to really start engaging a community and extending that community. And so what that YouTube channel has allowed us to do is really start to just share and build more awareness around the organization. That's where people can go to see our videos and learn more about the organization, learn more about the people that they're going to be interfacing with, and hearing about the experiences. I think there's one thing to read it on a website or to read or see small clips, but it's another thing to really see like the full breadth in video to get an understanding.
Right. No, I think that's extremely powerful, right? And I think you guys are definitely using it in the way that would benefit you, right? People know who you guys are before they show up. They know what to expect, and they're hearing from real people. And I think it's probably partially why the whole world is really turned to video content, right? It's the closest way of making you feel like you're there already without being there. Great answer, Charles. I love it. Now, every superhero has a defining moment. What do you think yours is, not only when it comes to your career, but your life as well?
Defining moment. So there's a couple of defining moments. Like one defining moment that led to me being in education just in general. I went to college. I was going to college to go to law school. I majored in political science. Never thought about teaching. My mom would always make comments around like, oh, you should teach. You should always consider teaching. Like when I was growing up, and I was like, no, I'm okay. Like I didn't want to do that. But I started getting involved in tutoring in schools in Atlanta, Georgia, where I went to college, and really started just having an amazing experience and time with the young boys that I was tutoring and working with after school. And that just like spurred my interest of like, wow, like this is great to like see the impact I'm having with kids, to know how motivated they are, and during this time. And so I was on campus and ran across a gentleman who was recruiting for an organization. And he was like, come check it out and go through the application process. And lo and behold, got accepted and started, in June after graduating and getting ready to become a teacher. So that was like the first defining moment that really
Mom was
changed
right the whole
my
time,
trajectory,
huh?
right? Yeah,
Mom had it right the whole way.
She did. She did.
Awesome.
And then the second one was, and this is really when I think about, educational equity and how are we ensure, like how do teachers ensure that all students have opportunities that are in front of them. And it was when I got called in, I would say, by one of my former principals, and really having a heart-to-heart conversation around what I was doing for my students to ensure that my students had, like, I was not responsible for closing doors on them. And so, he held up a mirror to me and it was like, when he was asking, why students are struggling in my class, I was like, well, kids weren't doing their homework. I taught it once and they should have gotten it. They had the notes. And he said, he challenged me. He said, like, Charles, when I look at these results and I think about, who's responsible. When I see that you have a number of students failing in your classroom, I'm going to come back to you, ask you every time, what more can you be doing? And that really shifted my perspective and changed my approach in education, both as a teacher and later as a middle school principal, and now in my work in leading the Educator Academy. That yes, there are a multitude of complexities that are happening outside of a school building each and every day.
Yeah.
But as teachers, it is our responsibility and to feel the level of to be responsible to ensure that our students are learning and we're maximizing learning, and that we're doing everything in our power to create that space for kids. And because when we do that, right, like kids have all the opportunities in front of them.
Yeah.
And so like that was another defining moment that, for me personally, in my life and in my career.
Yeah, controlling what you can control, man. I think that's a huge one, right? And I'm sure that's extremely hard as an educator when there's so much that's out of your control, right? I mean, you only have them for 8 hours a day, right? And then they're back off in the world dealing with everything that they've got to deal with, right? So yeah, it's hard when kids come in and maybe you don't have all their attention, right? It's easy to say they're not paying attention, right? But yeah. It takes a bigger person, right, to be able to look in the mirror, right, and say, what else can I do, right? So that's huge, man. I love that. We kind of talked about a few of these just now, kind of passively, but heroes have attributes, as do villains. What do you think are the attributes that really define more what that hero side is?
I mean, the attributes, I would say are humility, reflection, a sense of responsibility, and ownership. There's also, I'd say like for heroes, there's also a sense of love and care and commitment that comes with it, and really seeing others. I think it's dangerous to always, we used to have this like mantra of like, put others above yourself. I'm not saying that, like, I'm not going to say that like people should put other people above themselves, and because we have to take care of ourselves. We have to put our oxygen mask on before we put on the oxygen mask
Right.
for other people. But what I'll say is like we have a responsibility to be good people and good humans and good role models for the people that we're impacting. And I think like, I believe that if one person does good for another person, those two then do turn and do good for two more people. And then we just continue to have a ripple effect. And that's ultimately what it feels like. I wouldn't fully define myself as a hero, but what I feel like heroes should do, right, is like create a ripple effect.
Yeah, nobody on our show ever defines themselves as a hero, so you're right in line with every other guest we've ever had on here, which is amazing. No, I think you nailed it, man. And a lot of that empathy, I think, that we were talking about earlier goes into kind of some of that love, right? Sharing that love, and I love the mantra too, right? Obviously, you shouldn't be putting anybody in front of yourself, but if you can put them right along with you, right? I think that's probably love everybody the same that you love yourself, and treat them the same that you would treat yourself, right? It goes back to that old treat others as you want to be treated, right? The golden rules. So I love it. Now, Charles, I'm going to ask you the hard one here. If you had to compare yourself to any superhero that's out there, who would that be, and tell us why they relate most to Charles King?
Wow. Oh. This is a hard one. I am going to go with Spider-Man.
Okay, let's hear it.
And so I think the reason why I go with Spider-Man is because, one, I mean, similar to, like, I know Spider-Man has an edge. They all have edges, but the Spider-Man is also, I think, like, that you have this, you wouldn't. when you want to picture this person being a superhero, right? Like this is a an inconspicuous person, but really is all about like how to improve the community and how to be a better person regardless of setbacks, right? Like where there could be a lot of like hate, anger, resentment for the loss of a family member in a violent act, right? But to turn that around and into inspiring change and like really wanting to clean up a city, to really be a positive force. That's where I see like myself, like I'm not as concerned like cleaning up the city, but really being a positive force of like how do we improve our educational system to be a positive force for our students, for all students, but most importantly, the students who've been most marginalized, which are students of color and students from poor communities, right? Like how do we ensure that that our students who are from those communities have the best chances and outcomes in front of them, and how do we ensure that they see the great possibilities that are outside of their own communities, right? Their own blocks, and knowing like there's a broader community within the community that they should have access to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's always been one of the things that's driven me the most crazy. One of the things within our education system, right, is oh, this district's really good and this one not so much. That's so wild to me, right? That depending on where you live, right, is going to be the quality of education that you're going to receive. There should be a flat line across the board. Everybody should be getting the same level of education. I know people seek out different types of education and styles and that kind of thing, but there should be a very consistent level throughout our entire country as what the standard is, right? So I'm glad that you brought that up, Charles. Man, thank you for coming on the show. You're absolutely awesome. Throw out there one more time, how can people get involved with you? How can they follow what you guys are doing? How can they keep up with you, donate, all that good stuff?
Yeah. So one, check us out on our website, www.educator-academy.org. There, if you are interested in getting into teaching, if you would love to be a mentor teacher, if you want to support us, there's all of those opportunities are available there. We are looking for folks who want to join our board and really like lean into this work. If you're feeling called, like this is your mission, your passion, and you want to see about ways to really support us in our efforts to achieve that, consider joining the board, consider donating to that to our organization. Follow us also we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on X, formerly known as Twitter. Check us out. We'll continue to post. We'll post some more over the course of the summer and throughout the year, and just learning more just about the different events that we're putting on. And so just thank you again for Gino for having me out here today, and just enjoyed speaking with you and being a part of the community.
Oh man, it was my pleasure to have you on. And they also have a YouTube channel, which we mentioned earlier, and then obviously the LinkedIn page as well. So I believe it's either the Educator Academy or the ED Academy on all platforms. So definitely get out there, give them a follow if you want to get involved. Don't hesitate. You've already heard from the top brass over here with Charles being so nice to come on the show, so you know who you're getting into, or who you get involved with before you get in there. So absolutely awesome, Charles, man. Thank you again for coming on the show. I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future.
Thank you.
Hey, are we still live? Hey guys, we're still live. Hey guys, this is Kevin Kwok, founder of J29 Creative Group. So who are we? We're a marketing agency here in Kansas City. We're all about a holistic approach to marketing that builds your brand and nurtures online community. But to be honest with you, you guys don't care.